Okay. And
Not that this is a rhetorical question, but let me ask, aren't we being a little short-sighted in not describing the motivation for the BLM to extend beyond cattle grazing interests or protecting cattle grazing interests? Aren't there other interests that are served by taking the horses off the land? Like mining interests, like the many oil and gas interests that are publicly listed as major contributors to our congressmen and senators in the United States.
That is the primary interest.
So isn't it a good idea for us to start revealing the facts about the special interests and those who are public officials, presumably representing everybody's interest, but actually in the pocketbook not?
mm, well, you're absolutely right, Annie. Of course.
That was a rhetorical question.
Okay. You're still right. It's hard to get answers from an agency that is not transparent, it's not accountable. And President Obama campaigned on that, and unfortunately, he has an agency that does not adhere to that principle. And until we can get some straight answers, we really never will know the real reason. I have referred to the wild horse and burros as the canaries in the coal mine. Thanks. We should say the gold mine, because that's what's going on in Nevada. We do have poisoning of the earth, of course, and fracking and all kinds of stuff, and delivery systems that are draining our waters from northeastern Nevada, which is, I think, the most arid state in the nation. And so there are a lot of underlying causes for this, and it's disingenuous to say it's one thing or another. They're not coming clean. And I also would like to say that the livestock folks who are on public lands, you're next.
Being out there for the last year and going from roundup to roundup has me going from HMA to HMA. I've been in HMAs in 6 different states. I've been to roundups. When I'm there in those areas, what I see expanding gold mines. I see extractive industry coming in as well as livestock. I talk to some of the ranchers. For example, in Eureka County right now, there's a mine going in that's going to use 3/4 of the available water in that area, and the ranching families are frantic because their livelihood, this ranch that belonged to their grandfather and his father before him, is going to disappear. When you begin to boil this down and look, we have a war that's centered on water, and everything that's out there works on water, whether it's livestock grazing, whether it's a gold mine, whether it's even natural gas. And so when you really boil this down, this is the last great resource war on this planet, and it's for water. When you look at horses and what they represent to us as an American, our symbol of freedom, our symbol of resilience, our symbol to carry on. And at the very tip of this iceberg is this wild horse and burro program. And that symbol is being removed as the theft of America is occurring. Because not only is that water being utilized, but the minerals that are being extracted out of that ground, that money's not going to benefit you. It's going into the pockets of private interests at your expense. We have a subsidized industry currently on public land, whether it's ranching, whether it's gold extraction, whether it's molybdenum, whether it's oil, whether it's gas, whether whatever, it's happening on your back right now, and they don't want you to know. So getting those pictures of those wild horses is often as difficult as it is to get the documents to tell you what's happening to your land.
Yeah, one more question, you have that? Yeah. Yes.
Ginger, I just wonder if your reality is that the horses are not gathered or stopped, how do you guys plan on managing the horses, particularly short-term and long-term? I've heard said that the BLM is not doing a very good job of management of livestock, horses, et cetera, right now. What are your plans on management? Short term, if the numbers are down, but if these horses just continue to multiply, there has to be some kind of a management plan, or you just, what do you do?
Well, I think you stop the roundups now so you can talk about things. You don't just remove everything that's left.
Once the roundups are stopped, maybe there'll still be a situation where you're going to remove horses. Is that correct?
Oh, absolutely. I'm not saying that there'd never be a horse removed. I'm not saying that at all. But if we can stop it, you and I can sit down with the BLM and all of us to discuss what needs to happen. But you don't just continue to run a train off the track.
All right.
Well, I think that's the end. You did have a question, the young lady in the middle?
Yes.
One more, and then we'll call it quits.
You call them resources, so I was just kind of wondering, do you guys believe in the domestication of wild horses, like breaking them, training them, using them?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I'm happy to say I have Trace, my blue roan from the Priors. I have Sax, Cloud's brother, who's a charmer. He's a 3-year-old. They should still be wild and free. I regret that they are not, but I love them. And I think if you show a show of hands here of the people in this room who have adopted a wild horse. Or burro. Or burro. Very sorry. This movement is not about not adopting adoptable animals. This movement is about not removing 22-year-old mares that die in this
I'd like to ask one more question if I could before you cut things off. And I'd like to have Madeline talk more about her plans. This gentleman's concerned about what might happen to these horses if the BLM is removed from all of this. We're still going to have an issue. Madeline has come up with a proposal that would take care of all that, and she's having trouble getting it pushed through. And I'd like to get an update from her as to what's going on.
Were you here at the beginning of this press conference?
Yes, I was.
Okay, all right.
But I'd like her to
She very articulately addressed that, but have at it now.
Okay. Well, and I appreciate the question because I felt that I needed to come up not only with a solution, but it had to be a viable solution financially too. And that's why I've asked the BLM to be a partner with us. I bought the land, it's in a foundation. Whatever stipend we receive, we cannot just put in our pockets and forget to feed the horses or go away on vacation. It has to go into the foundation to take care of the land. And, I realize America wants to see this. We would have so many things for children to do. The Boy Scouts of America want to come, and so we came up with covered wagon rides so you could go into the sanctuary and not ride a car or an ATV. Photography classes, creative writing workshops, painting workshops for people and children, internships, school trips, campfires, storytelling, staying overnight. We've got these 1,000-foot teepees coming so that kids can stay in there. Horseback riding, Mustang lookout point, up close and personal opportunities with Mustangs, arts and crafts, stargazing and astronomy, wilderness survival, archery, rock climbing, Boy Scouts jamborees, land never stops giving. That's the thing, water is precious to us, but our resources, the horses, something that is nasty and feral to certain people. I asked Clay Nanini from Nevada, who was my realtor and is now, helping me with this project. I said, what is it? He said, it's like religion, Madeline. They've grown up with it. They like to hate the horse. They don't want to change. They're comfortable with that. And I don't know how to tell them that the world has changed and it's not about hating anymore. It's about appreciating what we have. We're at an age where we're losing so much because we have become generic. And we need to go back and start again and quit hating the horses. We need cattle, but we can all get along if we could just stop that rhetoric and try to make it work. We can make it work with everybody. I went to a mining company in Nevada and I said, would you join us? Would you be part of the foundation? Let's go back and explain a little bit about the history of mining. yes, we don't like the way the lands is being desecrated, but if you don't get together and make friends and talk about it, you're just fighting and you're getting nowhere, and it's hurting our horses. We have to make friends. You know, I would love to make friends with the cattlemen. You know, that's why I say cowboy poetry. Come to, you know, our land at Mustang Monument, because I've already got the name Mustang Monument for us. So, I don't know. As far as us, I know that Bob Abbey did come out and say that he's not going to do the sanctuary, but then when I did meet with him a couple of weeks ago in Washington, he said he was misquoted. So I think that's nice. So we're back on the page again. But, you know, we are different from long-term holding. I want the horses to roam freely where they came from and where they should be, and not without any transparency as they are in long-term holding. I'm very concerned when you give a private individual the money. You don't ever know. They die, the kids don't want to do it anymore, you know, hardships happen. We must protect the horse. And we have an opportunity now. It's the right time. This country doesn't have the money. Let's, you know, if they would just let me run with it, we could create one that would house all of the horses that they have in long and we don't need to touch long-term holding. They have their contracts, but short-term holding, we need to empty that out, and we can. They just have to agree to want to do it and stop coming up with what if.
Madam? The question is, would there be burros on your sanctuary, Madeline?
Yes. Yes, of course.
Michael wants to have 30 seconds. I like this picture of John Wayne with the flag. I was talking to a lady who's here from Phoenix, Karen, and she's doing classes and so forth with children. And she said they didn't know who John Wayne was, but they knew who Cloud was. Okay, Michael, and then we really do have to get out of this room.
I just want to conclude by saying that at the end of the 1800s, a great Indian chief was asked why all the Indians were killed and why they were removed and put in barless prisons for the last 100 years. And he told everybody, we were in the way. So were the wolves. They were in the way. We killed over 5 million of them. The buffalo were in the way. We killed over 30 million of them. The wild horses and the burros are in the way. That's why they've been killed by the United States of America. The fact of the matter is, as I said before, we are related to life on Earth. And with wild horses, it's so simple and so real that anybody that has ever seen them for any period of time remembers what they've seen for the rest of their lives. Because the wild horse women, they don't say, I've got to have a boyfriend. They don't say, I've got to have a husband. They say, I got to find the best guy around. And they do. And the best guy around, what he does, he takes care of people. He breeds, brings young people into the world along with the women, and he takes care of his sons and daughters. He protects his herds from being hit by anybody. What do the women do? They lead the herd to water and food and so on. That's what the women do. And why are they overpopulated? Because the BLM takes the herd stallions, castrates them, kills them, or sends them to slaughter. Who comes in? The bachelor herds, who have wanted to have sex with anybody forever. And they come in and breed with all the young kids. and the horses overpopulate because of the Bureau of Management doing it. That's why they overpopulate. At any rate, adios. I'll see you later.